Good morning. We want to welcome you today to our worship service on this Sunday, March 29th, 2020. I think this will be a year that we all don't forget. And wherever you are gathered today, whether you're watching this over our YouTube channel or whether you're hearing this live through our radio partners WBEX and on an iHeart radio station, in whatever way you're gathering, we pray that God is keeping you safe and that you are enjoying this time of respite and renewal with your family. I thought this week in the announcements I would spend a little bit of time just sharing some thoughts I have this week on our current circumstances and thinking through some of the blessings of this. So I have 10 blessings I've thought of our current situation, our current circumstances. And I just thought in a positive note today that we would gather together and consider the positives of our circumstances. So here's what I have for 10 blessings from our shared current circumstances. One, we are being forced to slow down. We can't be as productive as we'd like to be, especially those of us who are working. And, I asked a friend this week if this was like what it was like to be retired. And he said, maybe for a hermit. So even in our retirement, I think we have more active lives, more things we want to get out and do. And I pray that in this time of slowing down, that our lives might be a little more simplistic. I think we have a deeper understanding through our struggles today of our connectedness as a global people, that in some ways, as we see ourselves as divided, different nations, different faiths, different peoples against one another, that we are in a common global struggle together. And each day as we report or hear reports about how we struggle, that we might find kind of a globalness about the situation that we're in. Number 3, we have increased time together as family, and I hope that you're choosing it to make it quality time. I know that we have pulled out the puzzles and the games and have spent more time together as a family. I hope you are as well. I hope, in number 4, that we are washing our hands more frequently, living a more sanitary lifestyle, and in that way, maybe a more healthier lifestyle. I think as number 5, we have found some new unsung heroes who have emerged in our hearts for the work that they do for us each day. Of course, we've heard a lot and continue to pray and lift up the ministries of those truck drivers, grocery store clerks, all those in the supply chain that are moving goods for our well-being. We pray for the custodians, the trash collectors, and all those who help to keep our world a safer place. We pray for our healthcare workers, especially who are really on the front lines of this as well, that God is keeping them healthy and safe, and for their families who might be separated from them during this time. I think number 6, we are unifying as a community. We're finding ways to creatively solve some of the problems that we face. People who are sewing masks for people. People are coming out with creative ways to help youngsters and school-age children and things that they can do to stay healthy and nourished. We certainly, I hope, are coming together as a nation, not seeing our differences by political party or by belief. And I hope and pray that we are continuing to reach out globally as we're sharing information about how best we might solve the issues and the problems that we're facing today in a medical world. Like today, we are finding as number 7 new ways to use technology, specifically social media, in I think healthier ways. Various worship experiences are available now. The church is really kind of stepping out in this way, and I hope that new people are being engaged with the church. Parents are engaging again in the education process of their children on a deeper level, fostering greater appreciation, I hope, for teachers and for those in our schools who help educate our kids each day. And no, Jenny did not make me say that. I just see it as a reality. We have come to understand the issues that exist on a global basis, is number 9. That we are people of the earth, of God's creation, in all different forms, in all different ways that we look, but we have a common struggle together. And number 10, one thing that we might not have thought of is, I think we've come to grow to have a greater understanding of what it was like to live in the church in early days when most of the worship was taking place in homes, not in central areas that we know of buildings of churches. And so we are more like the early church right now than we've been in a long time. And so, let's see that as a blessing as well. And how is it that we might, even in disconnectedness, in presence, be connected as God's people? What are we doing for as your church staff? Well, I want to let you know we are working tirelessly. Danny has worked overtime to try and piece together, work on video, giving us some solutions of the ways in which we can record these services for you. He's been coordinating with myself and Kathleen and our music people to make worship happen remotely and to make this experience kind of flow. Pastor Kathleen has moved our staff devotion and prayer time each morning that we have during the week at 9:30 to a Facebook Live experience. So you can catch her each morning, Monday through Friday at 9:30 live, or catch up with her. We'll put a link to her prayer times on our Facebook page on Facebook on Walnut Streets, and we hope that you will be blessed by them as well. Lee has been working to clean and re-clean the surfaces of the church, making sure that when we can gather back together, it will be safe for us to do so. Some of you have already started, and others will receive a call from myself or Pastor Kathleen or Vicki Nichols as we've started to kind of find ways that we can feel connected through the technology of our phones. And so you'll be receiving a personal phone call from us to members of our church family, just to let you know we miss you and to see if there are things that we can pray for you on a personal level. And so be expecting those calls if you haven't received those already. Pastor Larry has been working with the youth remotely to continue to connect with them and complete the requirements for the confirmation class so that hopefully when we can gather back together and worship, that we can celebrate their baptisms and their commitments to Christ. Of course, Peg continues to complete all of our publication needs. You can find a copy of today's worship bulletin on our website at walnutstreetumc.com. She continues to put those together remotely, and we're staying on top together of the voicemails and the emails for the prayer lists. She's working to keep us connected in that way. So if you have a prayer need, by all means, contact us at the church. We'd be glad to lift those up to you as well. What can you do? Well, first and foremost, we wish that you are continuing to stay safe and healthy and living healthy habits, that you are utilizing the means of technology that are available to stay in touch with each other and with us. You would communicate with us, your pastors in your church, your needs or the ways in which we can help out with you. You can leave a voicemail on the church phone line. It gets bundled up into an email and sent to us within 5 minutes of you leaving that. And so we are getting those messages. We are responding to those. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. We check our phone several times a day for new emails and new posts. Continue to share your gifts. The ways in which God continues to grant to us unique capabilities, unique perspectives, unique gifts not only of wisdom, of talents, as we see different music people come online, but also our financial gifts with the church. There's several options for you to do so, to give electronically or to continue to mail in. Most of all, remain positive. We as Christians live with the hope, with the promise, and with the fulfillment. So trust in God. Pray for his guidance, his peace, and his direction, and continue to shed the light into a world that so desperately needs it. This is the time that I think, as in other times of illness, the church can step forward and let the world know God's got this. So be blessed as we gather together this morning and we start with our opening worship today.